Call the meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee of the Village Board to order approximately 5:10. Trustee Minta and Trustee Maher are here. Trustee Zolbeck has indicated that we'll be here in the next 10 minutes, but we will get going. On our agenda tonight is review of the general fund departmental budgets and capital budget requests. Turn over to Martin Danielson to start us off here, and then if you have questions, we should ask them to try to let the presenters make their presentations. So get through it. We have about 106 pages of budgets, about 210 minutes to get through it if we try to get done by 8:30. All right, Mark.
Well, thank you. To start off, Tyler, do you want to kind of set the table on the PowerPoint presentation tonight and staff's general remarks that we've prepared in advance?
I'd be happy to. So for the department budgets, we're going to keep our presentations to no more than 5 minutes, covering these 3 points. One, highlighting up to 3 significant changes that differ between the 2017 and 2018 budgets. Second, just highlighting 1 or 2 accomplishments in the department this year. And then what are some of the upcoming challenges or policy issues that the department and staff considered when developing the budget. So they'll go through, up to a 5-minute presentation. And then if you have any, of those high-level questions for the department, they can answer those at this time before we move on to the next department.
If it's all right with you, Trustee Maher, we have a number of department heads here. We can start with the departments that are represented, and then Tyler and I can go through some of the administrative departments later in the evening, or later in the session anyways.
Okay.
Customer service then, you want to?
Yeah, that's one.
And yes, let me assist on the pages. You found it fast enough. 45 it is, huh? So again, it's not part of the presentation to review department descriptions and narratives. Focus on the budgetary items, which is on page 47 for what is now the proposed merged clerk customer service department for 2018. Diane, if you wanted to, I guess maybe give a verbal on that slide. I haven't reviewed these in advance.
As noted on the slides, the departments, the customer service and clerks department, made the decision to kind of merge because the clerks was a department of one, and the customer service department and staff supported most of the clerk duties when it related to elections. And so with the reorganization of the department, we've merged. As noted here on this slide.
Diane, you want to come up and use the mic? I just want to make sure the video camera gets you. Sorry about that, Diane.
So the merging of the departments resulted in a reallocation of salaries and a slight decrease, I believe around 30,000 in salaries. And then because we're going from 2 elections to 4 elections next year, the election costs, including poll worker salary, supplies, etc., approximately 142% increase. So those were the major changes with the clerk and customer service departments.
So then if we can pick up from there on page 46 for the primary department clerk customer service, and then it's followed by the elections department on page 50, if there's any specific questions to that budget.
when you say reallocation of staff, what does that, like from where to where are you talking about?
So, I believe Tyler added that, but the changes that the clerk is now, was a clerk treasurer,
Right.
is now a clerk.
Okay.
And then the reporting, I now report to the clerk as opposed to the
So the
manager, but
clerk's
outside of
salary,
that,
clerk's salary went down a little bit, right?
correct.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Yeah,
On page 48, it just said, we still have under professional education, the treasurer's conference.
I did note that tomorrow.
Yeah, that came up earlier today, and one way or another, staff is going to want to participate in those activities, and we may need to adjust where we account for
Yeah,
them.
covered. And then the only other thing I had is the agenda management software. There's no cost.
It-
broken down.
Oh, it's
It was
broken
a
down. So it's 6,100. Okay, thank you.
No, I don't want to. That agenda management software funding for that is not being proposed. The other line items are for individual items, which then total up to $6,200.
Oh, okay, so what happened to agenda management software?
It was-
Staff did not.
The clerk had decided that that was her project and that she would want to leave it for the new clerk to see if they wanted to move forward with that project as well.
Did we already expend any funds for it?
No.
Oh, okay, so it would just be waiting until the following year to,
Correct. The new clerk wants to pursue it.
okay. And then for the liquor licenses, it just has 15,000, is that is that one reserve and a couple of renewals?
I believe all liquor licenses are renewed every year. And I don't believe we've budgeted for issuing additional licenses that are not already on the books.
So the 15,000 just represents renewals?
Correct.
And if there was a new one, you'd get an extra 10,000 revenue?
That's my understanding, right, Diane?
We've got two reserved available right now.
So knowing that we have at least 2 restaurants that are going to be potentially moving forward, could we increase revenues by 10,000 there?
okay. I would, since we don't wait until they're issued, we actually have them in hand.
I mean, it's
Well,
budget.
the other thing from a staff perspective is, you know, those would be considered one-time revenues, and we'd be reluctant to amend the background budget, which would then have to be reduced the following year, with creating a shortfall. But certainly something I can put on my list of possibilities. I'll do that at staff level.
Or is that for like expenditure limit, like is that effect, is that what you're saying, one time?
No, but it's not a renewal, therefore it's only going to come in once. So it creates issues with structural budget deficits if we start budgeting for fees that we don't expect to get in subsequent years.
Of course, the elections budget changes every year.
Yeah, those are expenditures, those are,
Right, but I mean, it's a one-time thing, it goes up and then goes back down.
As we are in budgeting, we usually, we're projecting what we feel the revenue is going to be, and I think that that's going to be $10,000
all right.
Yeah, I mean, somebody else may turn in their liquor license. We don't know until they actually get to that point.
That would just not be a renewal, this is a new purchase.
But I think we made your point that
No, I mean, I've got it on my list to look at that, and we'll analyze that as part of the wrap.
Elections,
I guess, next, the police department is here. If there are no more questions for customer service or elections. Police department budget, the budget presentation is on page 59.
Thank you, Diane. I'm sorry I missed your presentation.
Oh, that's, it was fascinating.
You would be surprised how engrossing frac sand stormwater plants are.
Oh,
No, I covered them.
I think election house that.
Yep, right.
On the revenue side, so we'll start with that. 2015 and 16, if you remember, we implemented the parking software program that was put in place prior to me getting here. And we ended up putting that in place about, I think, September maybe, 15? Towards the end of the year,
Towards the end of the
15.
year. Yeah.
And so during that time, we saw a decline in parking revenue. 2 years later now, 2018, we're back up to the historical levels of where parking fines have been. So you'll see our revenues are up in that area, which is, depending on how you look at it, a good thing. So that will help us out overall in our budget. 2015 was actually down to $3,000, and we're going to project this year at about $450,000. The program, we made some other significant changes as far as how we, or who does night parking. We moved our CSO, thankfully she agreed to go to, she works 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. So she's actually out in the parking jeep doing night parking, which has also freed up our officers to do police work in that parking. So that's been a good thing. You'll see our salaries are up 4.3% versus what their contractual salary increase of 2% was. If you remember back, the union contract language, what we agreed upon was they added their briefing time completely now to their overall salary. And that has an effect, and we talked about the effect that that has. So that used to be, the briefing time used to be given in comp time of 62 hours. Right, Mark?
61.
Thank you, 61 hours of comp time. So that was 61 hours that they were off the street. They are now on the street for that 61 more hours. In addition to that, if they want to build their comp time up now, instead of taking overtime and pay, they will, you'll see it, some will take it in comp time to build their comp bank up. So it's having an effect in the overtime. If you look at the overtime, it was significantly high in 2015. If you remember, we were down 5 officers at one point in 2015. And we were fairly high in overtime. This year, we're projected, I think, to be close to what we budgeted for, which is $100,000, which is $50,000 less than the previous years. So that's a good thing. We certainly try to work on that each year as well. So that's a reduction there. And then our utilities, you'll see our increase. That's a projection that Mark and I tried to project for next year at the new building. Certainly the bills that we've gotten so far, the construction workers were there, things of that nature. So now that we're in the building, we've regulated the heat and the air conditioning, and they're not running their equipment, we'll have a better idea, but this is the number that we best projected. So that could, we're hoping that could go down a little bit. Obviously, we moved into our new station. We will be having an open house here soon. We're just trying to get all the boxes put away and making sure everything's up and running. And remember last December, we gave you a presentation and we tried to increase our awareness in the community with crime reports, social media, and those types of things. I think we've done a fairly good job of that. The crime rate for this year, we're trending to be about the same as we were last year. And last year was significantly down since historical numbers. So I don't know the exact numbers I have on my phone, but so 2013 was a high year. It was 407 UCR crimes, and we're about 170 so far this year. So that's a significant, and I contribute that to the officers. You know, we got them out on the street. We're having them do their job with patrolling and doing those things. So hopefully that is having the impact that we're hoping it has. And I think we're seeing that in the crime numbers. Motor vehicle thefts we had a minor stretch of 5 days where we had 4 stolen vehicles. Overall, though, those numbers are down. What we are seeing is, get a little bit off the budget, but what we are seeing is more theft from vehicles. So we've made a flyer. We're going to be putting those flyers out in the businesses to get people to lock their cars because they're not smashing windows. They're just literally, we have some video of them. As you remember, the crime reports, people can submit their videos, so we have some video of, they'll drive down the street, jump out of the car, check all the doors, jump back in the car and go. And it's that quick. So we're really hoping people lock the doors, and we're doing some community outreach for that as well. And we lost the PowerPoint.
That laptop shut down on me,
Sorry.
so I'll get it up real quick here.
Have other communities started crime reports besides us in, what was it, Greenfield or whatever?
Greenfield, some others have, Whitefish Bay has done that.
Yeah.
And we're working with our software provider, Phoenix, to also implement another type of crime reporting as well. So things to consider the future, there's always that, I've been asked, and we continually look at that, whether or not we'll ever need more police officers, and that's something that in the future is something to think about. Right now, I think our crime rate is where it should be. Now, we always want to be low, right? Don't misquote me on that. But if we see those trends change, there might be something down the road that we have to look at. So we put that in there for something to think about. And then next year will be the phase 2 of the renovation of the police department.